Welcome back. I am John P. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 watches that, in my opinion, are some of the best value watches that you can find, especially at delraywatch.com. Because I have Delray Watch with my business partner Federico, we are exposed to many interesting and cool watches. And since day one, since we started the company in 2017, we both have focused on bringing in the watches that we felt are offering a lot of great horological value. So if you watch this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 watches we currently have until someone checks out that just deliver something unique and interesting. And I'm going to be sharing with you those reasons. Now, before we do that, guys, please do not forget to check out Delray Watch, where all these are available, as well as my Instagram, The Real John P. And on my wrist today, of course, I have a Gerald Genta retrograde with the Mickey Mouse dial. I post some pictures of this on my Instagram, but I just love this watch. I think this one is just so fun and unique and will likely be collectible in the future. So sometimes I like to put it on the wrist. So let's jump into it. The first watch I'm going to share with you, and I think this one is great, and from a brand that is so underappreciated. It's kind of sad how underappreciated for how phenomenal some of the watches look. This is the Chrono-Swiss Kairos automatic chronometer. Now, right away, diehard watch enthusiasts will know, especially if you like dressier watches, that this looks so much like a Breguet, right? And this is coming in at a fraction of the price of what a Breguet watch, with the beautiful blued Breguet hands, the Breguet numerals, the guilloche engine turning decoration on the dial. These are things that are known from dressier watches. And really, of course, I mean, Breguet hands, Breguet numerals, that means Breguet. And what we have here, it's a stainless steel. A lot of times Breguet likes to use precious metals, but this is 1,600 US dollars about, and something comparable from Breguet would be costing 6-7 times this, very likely, maybe $10,000. So I think it's really difficult to beat this. Now, it doesn't have an in-house movement, but for the price, not much is really going to be offering that. And so I think, something like an ETA 2892, which is what appears to be stocked into this movement, Chrono-Swiss's caliber variant of that. I think it's a phenomenal no-brainer watch for someone looking for that style, but coming in at a much lower and approachable price point. Let me know what you think about Chrono-Swiss, especially this watch, in the comments below. Now, rolling on, we have another brand that receives so little talk, very little accolades, and I understand why. This is a Paul Picot watch. Now, we've had some of these at Delray Watch, and you can find them on the marketplaces, Chrono24, eBay, and there's a company revitalizing the brand out there today. But over the years, Paul Picot watches have just crashed in price, but it's good for watch collectors that want a solid watch because they're using a lot of the same mechanics, components, and movements. It's higher end pieces, but this one here is special because it features a very special type of enamel dial on the watch. And enamel dial watches are just expensive because when you have something here like this Paul Picot Grand Faux Blue enamel dial with chronometer rating, mind you, so very accurate. It's not just a jewelry piece we're talking about here. These types of enamel dials take a lot of special care, and they take someone that's very knowledgeable in creating enamel items, and this is truly a lost art form. Enamel dial watches can start sometimes at $20,000 when you get into enameling that's done, in the case of this Paul Picot here, but even Grand Seiko, who's known for their affordability for the intricacies in their dials, their enamel dials are much higher than this price point as well. And it's because, they crush up glass and different other materials and they bake it into the dial, and it takes someone that's just so precise and really has experience in doing it in order for it to come out well and not crack. And there's so many different variables that come into play: the heating, the temperature, the amount of times they have to rebake the enameling. And so truly it takes an artist to pull off these dials. And when you talk about a watch like this at about 3,000 US dollars, it's kind of hard not to consider it if you're looking for a watch with a truly unique and interesting dial that had to come from someone that knows how to do this old world tradition in jewelry making, design, and artistry. Let me know what you think comments below. Now, next we have a watch that is more expensive in price, but in terms of value, it's difficult to beat, and that's because it is a Patek Philippe Calatrava 3919J. This is going to be that classic dress watch from the 80s and 90s that, at least for me as a watch collector, really is the design of that era. This Cloud de Paris decoration on the bezel is something that Patek Philippe recently came out with in the last year in their Calatrava lines, Calatravas that are over 30,000 US dollars. And when you look at a watch like this, that's under 10,000, much under, at 8,500 for a manual wind, solid gold Patek Philippe, Holy Trinity old world brand, this is such a no-brainer for someone that wants a Patek Philippe but doesn't want to pay $30,000 plus, but also likes the smaller case size coming in at about 33.5, likes the thinner case at about 6.5 millimeters in thickness. And it looks a lot like something potentially you could see today. So I think it makes such a compelling choice for someone that is looking for this thing, wants the Patek Philippe name, and doesn't want to pay what they're asking for today. The 3919J, I think this watch is very attractive option. Now next, this watch is quirky and cool and also has a more expensive price point like the Patek Philippe we just spoke about, but I think it's more than warranted considering the fraction that it sells for on the market compared to the retail price, but also the mechanics that was required to build this. This is the HYT H0. Now this watch is unique in that it tells the time with a tube that contains liquids. There's a colored liquid, there's a clear liquid, and there are reservoirs that store the liquid, and there's a pushing and pulling effect when it's actually talking or actually displaying the time mechanism on the watch. Now, I think this is fascinating to see, and if you like that steampunk kind of look, this is maybe an option for you, but this wouldn't be an everyday wear watch. This would be a watch where someone has other watches and they want something just cool and quirky that they can put on their wrists and have fun with. This is a very large watch, but of course it has liquid in it. It has these components to pump the liquid through it. And keep in mind that this watch we're selling for about 12,000 US dollars, but the retail is 45,000 US dollars. So when these watches hit the market, they were a lot of buzz. I don't know if they ever sold very well in high volumes because, let's be honest, it's kind of a unique mechanism that's being used. So there's some serviceability concerns there long term. But once again, something quirky and fun, and people like that stuff sometimes. Even myself, I think this watch brings a lot of value in the uniqueness category. Let me know, comments below. And last, I want to talk about a watch that many would dismiss as being just a fashion brand, right? Oh, a Louis Vuitton, oh, a Dior, whatever. These fashion labels, or oh, a purse company, something like that. But no, this is an Hermes watch, but Hermes over the last handful of years has been releasing some very nicely done watches that really do pack a punch and have a lot of horological value. This is the Hermes Slim Day Hermes, which features a vaucher movement with the micro rotor, automatic winding mass on the back. This is something people love in watches. I think it's cool and unique. It's not something I necessarily gravitate towards, but there's like a micro rotor. There'll be a picture here, but you'll have a smaller rotor that doesn't, make up the 80% of the inside diameter of the movement. It's just kind of in a corner, if there were corners and circles, you get the idea. But I think that it's just so cool and unique, much like some of the reasons we spoke about the other watches here just previously. It also has this H motif, the Hermes logo motif, decorated on the movement plates. And that's something I can't recall any manufacturer doing. You see a lot of Côte de Genève and perlage and different anglage and different types of metal finishing techniques that look really nice and are proven to be attractive over hundreds of years sometimes. And so when you have this H motif, I get it. You're really pushing the brand in a way, but it's unique and interesting paired with that high quality Vaucher movement, technically in-house because Hermes owns a considerable stake of the Vaucher movement manufacturer. It pains me to say sometimes, but then I quickly snap out of it, and it doesn't, because this watch is a solid collector appreciable watch. Like, you should actually like this watch if you can look past maybe it has a name that is meaning something different in the past. I really do give them the stamp of approval at really trying to make a watch that even hardcore watch enthusiasts would be happy to have in their collection. Also, don't forget to leave comments below. But guys, what do you think about this? Are there any other watches that maybe we have in stock that you think are cool, unique, and interesting? I would be very open to doing some hands-on reviews of these as well. I get different messages on Instagram all the time, people wanting to talk about watches we have in stock, and it's always kind of the fine line that I do try to dance. I don't want this to just be talking about inventory. I do want to talk about the things that you want to see. So, I really try to kind of, gauge that and err on the side of being a little more conservative with it. But this is the video where I did want to share with you some interesting watches. Guys, please do not forget to thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Leave me things below that you'd like to see in the future. You can find me on Instagram, The Real John P. We'll see you next time. You've been chatting with John P.